Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Adam, this is Vancity Audi, and today I have another video for you on the effects of E85 and how much power it can bring to a tuned vehicle, to a stock vehicle, just from using it in addition to your pump gas. I'm back at Racing Greed here to get my buddy's 2011 R8 with that monster 5.2 liter V8 with a stage 1 tune from Unitronic. My friend bought this car and he's enjoyed the heck out of it, but he's never really put it through the ringer. He hasn't put it on a dyno, he hasn't been logging the car to see how well it's been performing. When he saw my video and he's like, "Are you kidding me, dude? You can get that much more performance out of your car?" I explained to him how crappy the fuel we have here in the lower mainland is, and explained you just add that little bit of E85 on a completely stock fuel system. As long as your fuel trims are good and you're not going over above E10 to E15, you will see performance gains. The pros and the cons of YouTube. What I've noticed, guys, is I do my best to explain everything I can on the videos without talking too much, so I don't bore the hell out of you guys and make the video 30 minutes long. But on the other side of things, I try to make it short enough, but sometimes I don't fully explain everything and then I get 100 questions after the fact. So I'm gonna try to explain a bit more. In the description below, you'll actually find a link to the video that I've already shot with my buddy Adrian on his B8.5 S4. We ended up logging timing. We showed the differences before and after running straight pump gas compared to what it was with E85. We corrected the majority of the timing and we showed draggy runs to make the car that much faster just from adding some E85. It was awesome. I think it was 6 or 7 miles per hour more just from the fuel change. Nothing else is the same. So what we're gonna do today is we're getting Shane's R8 on the dyno using our 94 octane fuel with 0 ethanol from Chevron. That's what we have in the lower mainland. That's the highest octane stuff we have, but it doesn't have any ethanol. Gonna get you that baseline run. Get it up there and see what kind of power it can make. It's gonna be pathetic. Shane's gonna be pissed. Everyone's gonna be like, damn, that is nothing. But then we're gonna toss in some E85. To clarify, this vehicle is not a flex fuel vehicle. We are putting in a small amount of E85 to bring that ethanol content higher in the fuel in his tank. Guys are getting ready at Racing Greed. This is awesome. They got so many performance vehicles here. It's wicked. It's like my playground. Anyways, once that is corrected and we add that more ethanol, we'll give it a bit of time to correct. We'll put it on the dyno, get a little bit of time on, then we'll run it again. I will show you guys just what a massive difference it makes in power. Force inducted vehicles, supercharged, turbocharged vehicles, I find it makes more of a difference. We're tossing on this naturally aspirated V10 monster and we're gonna show you what a difference it makes between 0 ethanol and 10% ethanol with our 94 octane fuel here in the lower mainland. Here it is in all its glory, 2011 Audi R8 V10, that's the 5.2 liter. They're just about to pull it on the rollers. Oh, it is so nice. White on bronze, love the color. Matches my R3. It's got an aftermarket exhaust too, but I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it's gonna sound glorious on that dyno. First pull on this beauty. Let's see what this 5.2 liter V10 does on a stage 1 tune from Unitronic, but with our horrible, horrible, horrible pump gas. Woohoo! Let us check it out. On the DynoJet calibration, 453 wheel horsepower and 343 foot-pounds of torque. Let's get the graph up there. So there is the first pull with that monster V10. There are the numbers, 453 and 342. And there is the graph. All right, so we got the first pull down. That is with 0 ethanol. No ethanol content whatsoever on our 94 octane pump gas here in the Lower Mainland in Vancouver, Canada. Now we're gonna let it cool down a bit, and we're gonna add 10% ethanol. So we're gonna be adding E85 fuel, which tests at E85, and adding about 8 to 9 liters, which we have, I think, about half a tank of gas in there right now, to bring that ethanol content up to around E10. We're gonna let the ECU adapt, do a couple more pulls, and see how much more horsepower this badass R8 can make. So I used VCDS to log that run. This may not be perfect information because VCDS can't transfer enough data, but this at least will give us a ballpark figure. As you can see, every single cylinder is pulling timing. Big time, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 3.5, a little 1.5, 1.5. But you can see that as he's pulling twice in the rev range, does he lose a ton of power because the quality of fuel sucks. We've got how much timing is being pulled. We've got how much horsepower and torque it's making. Now to add that 8 to 9 liters of ethanol, bump up that octane value of the fuel, and run it again. So this is Shane. Shane, the man, the one, the only, the owner of Northside Petroleum in New Westminster. He is one of the gentlemen that is supporting our corn addiction in the Lower Mainland. That is his R8 we're using today.
Is it 1 liter?
No, not even close. We gotta add more than that. So we added the ethanol. We're gonna give it its first hit and see how much the ECU adapts to see if we can get rid of that timing correction and see how much horsepower we can make. I don't know, guys, what do you think? 10, 20 horsepower? No difference? I'm interested to see what you guys have to think in the comments below. Before you watch this portion, make a guess. Woo! Did we make more? Damn rights we did! 470 horsepower, 349 foot-pounds of torque. Let's get the graph up there. First pull compared to the second, an additional 17 horsepower, an additional 5 foot-pounds of torque. There are the graphs overlaid on one another. Just from giving it a little E85. What a difference. Now we're gonna take a look at the logs. Here are the logs from that second run, and we have cleaned up a ton of that timing correction among many of the cylinders. We're still seeing 3 degrees pulled here mid-range. Other ones are at 0, and if we go over with the mouse and we head over to the higher rev range like I was previously, we're only seeing 3.8 degrees being pulled out of cylinder 10. Way, way better, significant power, and much less timing being pulled. All right, we put a little more E in. It's probably sitting at about E10 to E11 right now. See if it's adapted more. Third pull, gonna see if we can squeak out a bit more power out of this badass R8. Come on, baby, give me more, give me more, give me more. Oh, it's the same. 470, but this time it had a little bit more torque, I believe, at 355. Let's get the graph up there. That right there is beautiful. 453 wheel to start it off. We added around 10% ethanol and bumped it up to 470 to the wheels. 342 pounds-foot of torque, bumped it up by 12 pounds to 354. Look at those graphs. Look at the improvements made. Holy crap. Gonna check out those timing logs and see if we've managed to get rid of all those corrections. Final run of the day, folks. Cylinder 5 and cylinder 10 pulling 2 degrees of timing, and that's it for that short amount of time in the rev range. There's some spikes here, but all the rest of the cylinders are at 0. I can't even hover over. There it is. 3.8 for like a split second in the rev range. But the corrections are near gone on all those other cylinders. 0 across the board. Look at that. Just from adding some ethanol to our crappy pump gas. Super stoked about these results for Shane. 17 additional wheel horsepower, 12 additional foot-pounds of torque for simply adding some ethanol to an ethanol-free fuel. This is not a flex fuel vehicle. This has no upgraded fuel system whatsoever. It is completely OEM fuel system. But because we're not pushing the threshold of how much ethanol is in the tank, we probably have 10 to 11% ethanol, and it made more power. Proof yet again that ethanol is the king of power. Yes, it has about 30% less energy than gasoline, and you need 30% more of it to make that power. But on average, it has about 104, 105 octane value. So you're mixing that in with pump gas and getting monster V10s like this to perform a bit better. I personally think that if you toss that stuff in on a turbocharged or a supercharged vehicle, one with forced induction, you're gonna get even more power out of it just because of the properties of ethanol. I hope this explained it a bit better to all of you that watched my previous video with Adrian and his S4 and people were confused as to what was going on. This hopefully laid it out for you a bit better. You've seen it on a dyno now, you've seen it on the street. Both numbers, proof that this stuff is awesome. Thank you so much to Shane from Northside Petroleum. I truly appreciate his time. Take care, guys. Until next time.